room. So part of hell has prison cells and chambers and pits of fire and big areas of fire. So I was just in a prison cell at this time. And then there's a scripture in Jonah 2:6, the earth with her bars was about me forever. And Job 17:16, they shall go down to the bars of the pit. So again, everything I saw was in the Word. The stones are talked about in Isaiah 14:19, the stones of the pit. I found myself in this cell, and these 4 creatures were in the cell with me. And I didn't know they were demons at the time because I went there as an unsaved person. God took it out of my mind that I was a Christian. I didn't understand why, but He explained that to me on the way back, which I'll get to. And so these creatures, I didn't realize what they were, but they were enormous. They were about 12 or 13 feet tall. One you'll see in the video, and the one I'm going to try to describe to you, oddly enough, one of the people that gives their testimony, he saw the same demon that I did. So you'll see what one actually looks like. It's a really good depiction of one in the video. And it'll be the one where the guy's being drug up to the bars of hell. You'll see Kenneth Hagin's testimony. And anyway, they were all scaly. This one was all scales all over its body, and giant jaw sticking out with huge teeth and sunken in eyes, and it just was enormous. And the other one didn't look like that at all, but it was razor sharp, like fins all over it, and long arms, and out of proportion feet, and everything was deformed and twisted and out of symmetry. No symmetry. The one long arm and one shorter, and just odd looking creatures. Horrible looking things. And they were blaspheming God. The whole time they were cursing God. And I wondered, why are these things cursing God? Why do they hate God so much? And then they turned their attention to me, and I felt the same hatred that they had for God, they had for me also. And again, I thought, why do they hate me? I haven't done anything to them. But they hated me with a hatred that I've never experienced on earth, way beyond what man has the ability to hate with. They absolutely hated me. And I knew they were assigned to me to torture me. There were things that I'm going to say that I don't know how I knew. It's like in hell, your senses are keener. You just are aware of more than you could be in our physical bodies here. I was aware of distances, and I was aware of time and so forth, much more than you are here. And so one of the things I knew was that they were assigned to me to torture me forever in this place. And I noticed I was laying on the floor of the cell, and I had absolutely no strength in my body. And I wonder, why can't I hardly move? What is wrong with me? And I was just real aware of that. My wife and I like to work out, and I just was aware of no strength. And I was helplessly laying there. And the one demon just grabbed me and picked me up and threw me into the wall like a glass, like you would pick up a glass. That's how light I was, or how strong he was. And threw me into the wall, and every bone in my body just broke. I felt it break. And I felt the pain. And I just began to lay on the floor there, and I was crying out for mercy. But these creatures don't have any mercy at all. Absolutely no mercy. The one picked me up, the other one, with those razor-sharp claws and things, and he just shredded my flesh right off. He just tore it off and had absolutely no care whatsoever for this body that God has so fearfully and wonderfully made. It just was a hatred that was so intense against me, and I wondered, why am I alive? Why am I living through this? I don't understand why I'm not dead. And the flesh just hung in ribbons, and there was no water or blood, just flesh hanging. And because life is in the blood, and there's no life in hell, and there's no water in hell. And in Isaiah 14:9 and 10, it says, hell from beneath is moved to meet thee at thy coming. They shall say, art thou become weak as we? You don't have any strength. Psalms 88:4 says, I am counted with them that go down into the pit. I am as a man that has no strength. And we know that the devil does have strength, even in scriptures where there was the demoniac running through the graveyards, and it said they couldn't bind him. Even with chains, he'd break the chains in pieces. So that was just a man with demonic strength. These demons have... I also understood that they had about 1,000 times the strength of a man. So even if I had my natural strength, I couldn't have fought them off anyway. So there was absolutely... I was just at their mercy, which they don't have any mercy. The smell of these demons and the smell in hell was so atrocious. I can't even describe to you, but I'll try. It's like if you there was a smell of burning flesh, of sulfur. There was a smell of the demons were like an open sewer, putrid and rotten meat or bad eggs and milk and everything you can imagine. Take it times 1,000 again and put it up to your nose and just breathe that in. It was so toxic it would kill you if you were here in this body. You would die. And I wondered, why am I living again through this smell? It's just so horrendous. But again, you don't die. You have to endure it. The profanities that they were cursing out God, that's mentioned also in Ezekiel 22 through 26. I am profaned among them, the word says. And profane means degraded, vulgar language, and blasphemous. The torments that they were doing on me, it's mentioned in Deuteronomy 32, 22 through 24. It says, for a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn into the lowest hell. They shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with burning heat, and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. So our teeth of beasts are upon you. 2 Samuel 22:6 talks about the sorrows of hell compass me about. And in Micah 3:2, there's an interesting scripture where the Philistines who hated the Israelites it says the Philistines who hate the good and love evil, who pluck off their skin from off them and their flesh from off their bones. That's what they did to the Jewish people. So that's in the natural, that's what they did. But where do they get that idea from? That comes from hell. That's what the demons do. And the mercy, there's only mercy in heaven. Mercy comes from God. And the devil has no knowledge of any kind of mercy. He's totally against that. Psalms 36:5, thy mercy, O Lord, is in the heavens. It's definitely not in hell. And in Psalm 74:20 it says, for the dark places of the earth are full of the habitations of cruelty. It's just a cruel, miserable, horrible place that you have endured. You have to endure all these things. Another thing was, God has made mankind the highest form of creation. He has made us the highest form of His creation. And these demons were the lowest form of creation. And as man, we work hard to get ahead in life. We better ourselves. We study and all the things we do. And here in hell, your life is run by a demon. This creature that has a 0 IQ. Absolute ignorant creature that all they know is hatred for God and hatred for you and torture. That's all they know, and they run your life, and you can't do anything about it. And there's scriptures about that. The humiliation that you have to endure, that this thing is going to run my life and I can't stop it. In Isaiah 5:14 it says, therefore hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure, and the mighty man shall be humbled. Isaiah 57:9 talks about being debased into the lowest hell. And Ezekiel 32:24 talks about enduring shame in the pit. And on they go. But that was a horrible thing to have your life run by these creatures that have no mercy for you whatsoever. I was laying in the cell and it went dark. Pitch black. I mean, a darkness which I have never ever felt before. And I've been down in caves and things, way down in iron mines and so forth in Arizona, and there was a blackness that you couldn't even imagine. And I managed to crawl out. Somehow I was able to crawl, and they let me apparently. And I remembered where the door was, and so I crawled towards it and felt my way, and I got outside the cell.